What happened to celebrity homes after they died? Abandoned, demolished, sold, and forgotten. We are starting with the most visited celebrity home in the entire world. A place that gets over 600,000 visitors every single year. A place that has made hundreds of millions of dollars since the day its owner died. And a place that started as the dream of a poor boy from Mississippi who grew up without running water in his house. Graceland, the home of Elvis Presley. Elvis bought Graceland in 1957 for just $2,500. He was 22 years old and already the most famous musician on the planet. He filled every single room of that house with his personality. The jungle room had an indoor waterfall and green shag carpet on the ceiling. The television room had 3 TV screens built into the wall at the same time, so Elvis could watch 3 channels at once. The trophy room was packed with gold records and awards from a career so big it barely seemed real. Graceland was not just Elvis's house. It was his entire world. He lived there with his family and the people he trusted most. And it was there in the upstairs bathroom on August 16, 1977, that Elvis Presley was found dead at just 42 years old. After Elvis died, his father, Vernon Presley, inherited the estate. But the costs of keeping Graceland running were enormous. And Elvis's finances were in much worse shape than anyone publicly knew at the time. The estate was spending money faster than it was making it. Then Priscilla Presley made a decision that changed everything completely. In 1982, 5 years after Elvis died, she opened Graceland to the public. The response was immediate and overwhelming. People came from every single country in the world to walk through the rooms where Elvis had lived and the garden where he was buried. Today, Graceland makes an estimated $100 million every single year. The poor boy from Mississippi built a home that became worth infinitely more after his death than it ever was while he was alive. Graceland is now a National Historic Landmark, and it will stand forever. Now we move to dreamy Neverland Ranch, the home of Michael Jackson. Michael bought the 2,700-acre property in Los Olivos, California in 1988 for somewhere between $17 and $19.5 million. He renamed it Neverland after the island in Peter Pan, and then poured around $35 million into turning it into something that had never existed anywhere on Earth before. A full-size private amusement park with a Ferris wheel, a carousel bumper cars, a roller coaster, a pirate ship, and a super slide. A petting zoo with chimps and llamas. 3 separate railroads, including one with a steam locomotive he named Catherine after his mother. A movie theater. A 13,000-square-foot French country home. Neverland was not just a house, it was an entire world, built inside the imagination of one of the most extraordinary people who ever lived. And then in 2003, everything fell apart. Santa Barbara County sheriffs. Deputies raided Neverland as part of a child molestation investigation with over 70 officers reportedly descending on the property at once. Michael was acquitted of all charges in 2005, but he never came back to Neverland. Not even once. He told his sister LaToya, "I cannot stand it. I never want to see it again. Never. I will never come back here." And he never did. Neverland sat completely empty. By 2008, the property went into financial default. Colony Capital stepped in and purchased the loan for $22.5 million. Michael transferred the title to Sycamore Valley Ranch Company, and then the dismantling started while Michael was still alive. Neighbors watched the amusement park rides being trucked away along the highway one by one. The animals were relocated. The Ferris wheel disappeared. Every single thing that had made Neverland magical was stripped away and removed piece by piece. After Michael died in June 2009, the empty property was listed for $100 million. Nobody bought it. The price dropped to $67 million in 2017, then to $31 million in 2019, and in December 2020, billionaire Ron Burkle bought it for just $22 million, a drop of $78 million from the asking price. The ranch was renamed Sycamore Valley Ranch, returning to the name it had before Michael ever touched it. Today it sits private and closed to the public. No museum, no tours, just silence where the magic used to be. Now we come to the home that got everything right. The celebrity home that was handled with so much care and so much respect that it stands today as a perfect example of exactly what should happen when a legend leaves a home behind. The Manoir de Ban, the home of Charlie. Charlie Chaplin spent the last 25 years of his life in this beautiful Swiss estate overlooking Lake Geneva and Corsier-sur-Vevey, Switzerland. He had been pushed out of America during the McCarthy era, and Switzerland had given him the peace and the dignity that America had refused him. He died there on Christmas Day, 1977, at the age of 88. Rather than being sold or demolished or forgotten, the Manoir de Ban was transformed in 2016 into a world-class public museum called Chaplin's World. His personal archives, his costumes, his props, and the rooms where he lived and worked are all perfectly preserved and open to millions of visitors every year. It is everything a celebrity home should become after its owner passes away. And it proves that when the right people make the right decisions about these places, the results can be truly extraordinary. Now we move to a home whose story could not be more different. A home that the entire world wanted to see, but that one woman kept completely private and completely protected for decades out of pure love and pure loyalty, La Paisible, the home of Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn bought this beautiful Swiss farmhouse in Tolochenaz, Switzerland in 1963. She had already won an Oscar, an Emmy, a Tony, and a Grammy. She was one of the most famous and most beloved women on the entire planet. But what she wanted more than anything was a quiet, private life away from the cameras and the red carpets and the attention that followed her everywhere she went. La Paisible, which means the peaceful place in French, gave her exactly that. She spent the last 30 years of her life there, raising her sons, gardening, cooking, and living as normally as a global icon possibly can. She died there in January 1993 at the age of 63 after a battle with cancer. And here is what happened to La Paisible after Audrey died. Her family kept it completely private. No tours, no museum, no public access of any kind. The property is still maintained by her family today, rarely photographed and rarely written about. In a world where almost every celebrity home eventually gets sold or turned into a tourist attraction, or stripped and auctioned off, Audrey Hepburn's family made the quiet and dignified decision to simply keep her home exactly as she would have wanted. It, private, peaceful, hers, it is perhaps the most respectful thing any family has ever done with a celebrity home. And it makes La Paisible one of the most mysterious and most quietly moving properties on this entire list. Now we come to the home that nearly got knocked down by a hedge fund manager who had absolutely no idea what was about to happen to him. The Brentwood Hacienda, the home of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe spent the last 6 months of her life in this quiet 4-bedroom house in Brentwood, Los Angeles. It was the only home she ever owned, the first place she had ever bought entirely for herself. Built in 1929 in Spanish colonial style with a free-form pool and a citrus grove in the backyard. For decades after her death in August 1962, the home passed through more than 14 different owners and was remodeled so many times that almost nothing of Marilyn's original interior survived. Then, in the summer of 2023, a hedge fund manager and his wife bought the property for $8.4 million. And within days, they filed for a demolition permit. They wanted to tear the whole house down and combine the lot with the property next door. The reaction from the public was instant and furious. A petition went viral overnight. Los Angeles Councilwoman Tracy Park stepped in with an emergency motion to stop the bulldozers. Fans from around the world flooded social media with anger and grief. And in June 2024, the Los Angeles City Council unanimously voted to designate the home a historic cultural monument, protecting it from demolition permanently. The only home Marilyn Monroe ever owned is still standing today, but it came within days of being completely erased. And the hedge fund manager who tried to knock it down became one of the most disliked people in Los Angeles almost overnight. Now we move Garden Lodge, the home of Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury bought the 8-bedroom neo-Georgian property in Kensington, London in 1980. And the way he bought it tells you everything about who he was. He saw it once, walked through once, and immediately told Mary Austin, the woman he called his closest friend, to tell the sellers to take it off the market because he was paying the asking price right now. He paid £500,000. Then in September 2023, Mary auctioned off around 1,500 of Freddie's personal belongings at Sotheby's. The famous green door sold for £412,750. The piano where Bohemian Rhapsody was written sold for $2.1 million. The entire auction raised over $50 million. And in February 2024, Mary listed the now empty Garden Lodge for £30 million. 30 years of perfect preservation ended in a single sale. The world was heartbroken. Now we come to a home whose story cuts in a completely different direction. The home of a poet who barely left it during her lifetime and whose family made sure it never lost the spirit of the woman who lived and wrote inside it. The Homestead, the home of Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson was born in this federal-style house in Amherst, Massachusetts in 1830 and spent the vast majority of her life inside it. She was one of the greatest poets in American history, and she wrote almost all of her extraordinary work without ever really leaving this house. After her death in 1886, the homestead passed through various hands before being carefully and lovingly restored to its 19th century appearance. Today it operates as a fully functioning museum open to the public and drawing visitors from around the world who come to see the bedroom where she wrote and the garden where she walked. Considering she spent almost her entire life inside those walls, it feels completely right that those walls are still standing exactly where she left them. The homestead is everything a literary landmark should be, and we end with the most recent and the most unexpectedly moving story on this entire list. A home bought just 3 years before its owner died. A home connected so directly and so painfully to the final chapter of his life that its sale less than a year after his death felt like the world moving on far too quickly. The Pacific Palisades home. The home of Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry bought this property in 2020 for $6 million. The 3,500 square foot 4-bedroom mid-century modern home sat on an ocean-facing bluff with stunning views of Catalina Island. He filled it with Batman memorabilia and had a red LED bat signal built into the bottom of his pool that lit up the water at night. His final Instagram post, shared just 5 days before his death, showed him sitting in the hot tub on that property, smiling at the camera. He was found unresponsive in that same hot tub on October 28th, 2023, almost exactly 1 year. Later on October 26th, 2024. The home sold off-market for $8.55 million to an Arizona-based movie producer who reportedly plans to use it as a vacation home. Matthew Perry's final home, the place connected to his last days and his last moments, became someone else's holiday getaway in less than 12 months. That single fact is perhaps the most quietly heartbreaking detail on this entire list. And there you have it. 8 celebrity homes and 8 completely different fates after their owners died. Graceland making $100 million every year and standing forever. Audrey Hepburn's home kept perfectly private by her family out of pure love. Neverland stripped and sold for $78 million less than its asking price. Marilyn Monroe's home saved from demolition with days to spare. And one big question that none of them fully answers. What is the right thing to do with the places where extraordinary people lived? If this video moved you today, hit that like button right now and subscribe if you are not already part of this family. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 8 stories hit you the hardest? I read every single one. Until next time, we will see you in the next one.